A question, Johnny.
Sure.
Why does the practice pitch have to be asphalt?
It has to have a non-porous material because the porous material settles unevenly, and the quality of cricket in this island is improving so much. We're now getting people who bowl really quickly, and if the mat starts to settle unevenly, the ball can come up at different angles. It does anyway, but it can come up at quite severely different angles. And now we're getting younger. We've now got two youth teams, one in the sort of young teenage levels and one below that. And they have to be introduced to hardball cricket fairly quickly. And I don't know if you've ever felt a hardball, caught a cricket ball, but it is very hard, much harder than a baseball. So one that flies off the pitch unevenly and hits you in the throat will do a lot of damage. So it just allows it to be safer and more reliable. It helps the quality of cricket, but it also helps the length of life or injury. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, John.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Council. Nicole Shukin, Levon Road resident. At the last Council meeting on June 27th, I noted some errors of omission in the minutes for the June 13th Planning Committee meeting. And Councillor McKinnon, as I recall, you agreed that one of the omissions deserved correcting. And I think that Councillor Kahakawila also agreed. So Councillor Kahakawila said that she'd bring the corrected minutes back for adoption tonight. But for the life of me, I still don't see the significant remarks offered by Councillor Little on June 13th, the remarks that were omitted from the minutes, included in the ones in the agenda brought back for adoption tonight. I may be missing something, but I don't see the correction. So I'd just like to respectfully ask Council to inquire about and ask for this correction before approving the minutes for adoption. And just to say that this isn't about one specific omission, it's about the principle of accurate and objective minutes, since they compose the public memory and official version of what takes place at the council table. And especially when there are dissenting versions of events or dissenting opinions on council, it's crucial that this appear on the public record, I think. So if you start to let things go missing from the official public record, you start to head down a very slippery slope. For instance, Mayor Rands, when you referred to the minutes from 5 in-camera meetings about the buffer land in 2021, did you not rely on their presumed objectivity and accuracy? So for the public to trust that our district keeps neutral minutes and records, we need to see that what transpires at the council table is faithfully reflected. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Anyone else? No, we'll move on then to adoption of the minutes.
Sure.
Councillor McKinnon.
I'll move adoption. Oh. Sorry, I have to press the buttons now. I will move adoption for discussion, for the purposes of discussion.
I'll second that for discussion. I have some comments.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so on June 13th, I did make some significant comments about my awareness of the sale of the buffer lands. Those were not included in these minutes. They should be included. It was a public meeting, and I'm not sure why they were omitted. I was in Europe last month when this was brought forward, and I would like to see my comments noted.
Council discussed this and all agreed that they should have been in the minutes. Okay, go ahead, Lisa.
Some light into this. So the proper process is when you receive the minutes at adoption, Councillor Brock-Willow was supposed to be here to chair, and I did call you earlier this week advising you that the proper process is that you would bring that forward and ask for that to be an addition to the minutes. Would you like to move the minutes with that addition to the minutes?
I would like to move the minutes with that addition to the minutes.
I'll
Yes,
second that.
Seconded by Councillor Little. Discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Move on then to the staff report regarding the non-farm use application. Cricket pitch. What's your wish? Councillor Little.
Yeah, I'd like to move adoption of option 1 for discussion, please.
I'll second that. I will second that for discussion. I have some thoughts on that as well.
Okay, so now we'll have some discussion. Moved and seconded by Councillor Little and McKinnon. Councillor Little.
Yeah, this has actually been a long process for the cricket club. The council liaison for the groups that use Metchosin municipal land. They're a good group of people to have on our lands. They're respectful. They are involving not only people of my age and older, but they're also engaging the youth. My own daughter was being groomed to be part of the cricket teams. She was more interested in horses, and there's no horses in cricket unless we move to polo. And I think that would not be something that we were going to be doing here in Metchosin, so she decided not to take it up. But I will attest to it being very dangerous when a ball comes at particularly one of the youth, because if it is at an uneven surface, I have seen it, the balls can go off in either directions. And this is not like hockey. The players are not, on the teams, they're not equipped with armor. And so that's a very reasonable request. And they've had to go to extraordinary length because this is ALC land within the agricultural land reserve. So I'd like to see this be moved tonight.
Councillor
sorry.
McKinnon.
Sorry, with the addition, if we could, after this, if we could move it to the council meeting at the end of the night, that would be great.
Councillor McKinnon.
Sure. I would like to see the granting of the $750 to the cricket club be removed from option 1 and discussed separately. And in that case, I'd be fully supportive of option 1. I think the issue of whether this also includes a grant of $750 for the cricket club is a separate issue and should be dealt with separately. I appreciate in the letter we received where it says, as the cricket club will be bearing the full cost of constructing these practice pitches and nets, they're hoping for some financial assistance. I think we should also realize that they're also bearing the full benefits of constructing those as well. They are a valuable addition to the community. I'm happy to have that discussion about the grant, but I'd like to separate the two issues.
That's as the chair, I will separate those issues. So we will have the first is item A, the recommendation for approval, and then the second will be to deal with the $750 grant. Mm-hmm. Councillor Epp, you had your hand up?
I was just going to say I would approve option 1, as well as could we add that the recommendation that we move it to the council meeting tonight?
Yes, that would be the intent when we go to the council meeting, to add it to the agenda then.
If I might offer a friendly amendment then on the first motion, I would amend it to exclude the $750 grant, so that the first motion is amended to simply be about the 1ABC.
Okay, I'll second that motion.
Well, as I said, as the chair, I've separated the motion to begin with.
Okay.
So all we're dealing with right now is item A, and option A, and then we will subsequently go to the grant as a separate motion. Everybody get that? Okay. So any further discussion on option A? That being none, call the question. Those in favor? Opposed, carried. So now we go to the I'll take a motion then regarding the grant. Councillor Rapp,
I'll move that we grant $750 to the Cricket Club.
do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Little. Discussion. Councillor McKinnon?
That's my thought.
Sure, I think my personal preference would be to see this come to the grants in aid, along with other requests from the community, rather than be dealt with as a one-off item here.
Councillor Little?
Yeah. Gosh, this is such a small item. It's almost hardly worth us having a big formal discussion over that would mean that the cricket club would have to wait for a year, right? For that, so they are bearing significant costs associated with their application to the ALC. I imagine that is what this is intended to do. So they are making adjustments to the agricultural land here on the district. It's not their land. They are contributing to the infrastructure, and for that I would like to see them compensated by the $750.
Councillor Epp, did you wish to speak?
Well, yes, I agree. I think that they're doing a lot of work. I mean, it is a municipal facility for community use, and anybody who wants to join and to play cricket on, and I really feel it's it's an important addition to the community. And I think we should support it.
So just for clarification, the $750 is an offset, and because of the denial of the ALC to deal with it in a specific way, then meant that the cricket club would have to pay the permit fee. I believe I'm correct on that, yes?
That's correct. We
And-
did try to seek
Yeah.
an amendment through the ALC because they did have an application earlier in which was piggybacked with our salt shed application for the ALC, in which the district
Yeah.
bore that cost, paid that cost. So this is due to the fact that the ALC wouldn't accept it as an amendment, and they're having to make a complete new application to
So,
the ALC.
yeah, so this is just another process where we would have forgiven the application fee initially, and this is just another way of doing it. They pay us the $750, we give them a $750 grant. So it's not like we're giving them a grant. This is just an offset and a different way of achieving what we probably would have done in the beginning anyways.
Yes, in case it wasn't clear in here, the district council doesn't have the ability to waive the bylaw and the fee within the bylaw. So they're paying us $750 and we're granting them $750. So there's zero.
So it's moved and seconded that we give the grant as an offset. Any further discussion? Being none, call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. You opposed or? You're opposed. Okay. Opposed, Councillor McKinnon is opposed. Motion carries.
That will get me, should I decide to run for office again, a bad review in the Muse.
Just,
It's a dangerous sport too.
just don't volunteer if they ask you if you want to come out and try at the cricket pitch. Okay, we'll move now to the request for the development variance permit for 4252 Metchosin Road. Go ahead, Councillor McKinnon.
I will move option 1.
I will second that for discussion.
Moved by Councillor McKinnon, seconded by Councillor Little. Discussion. Councillor McKinnon, did you wish to begin as the mover?
It seems like a not an outrageous request, and I think at this point in a process, unless it's something we want to reject outright, the next step is to contact neighbors, and so that's where my recommendation's coming from.
Councillor Little?
I'd like to see a site visit, all of us to attend the site. And if I'm not mistaken, this site has been, there's been by law enforcement issues around this property. And so I would like to have some information from the staff regarding past issues. I think it had to do with a building on that, and I noticed that there's significant changes to that property, and so if staff could also provide us not only with a site visit date but also with some documentation regarding the past history of the 4252 Metchosin Road and its neighbor.
Rest of council want to see do a site visit? As I understand this, and Lisa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, was this not put here quite a few years ago, and with the adjacent neighbor agreeing to the...
At the time that the building was constructed, yes, the neighbor agreed to the placement of it. Since then, both neighbors have, both properties, both separate properties, in regards to the enforcement matter, have changed hands. We have asked this applicant to come forward with a variance to bring it into compliance.
Okay, so we'll do a site visit then. Everybody wanting to do that? Yeah, okay. And so we can refer this to the next planning committee, I guess, and after the site visit. Everybody agree to that?
The motion is to send notices out to the 60 meter radius and bring it forward to the August 22nd meeting for consideration. So the site visit will have to be prior to August 22nd.
So we usually do those in tandem, right?
Yeah. So we will, if there's no further debate on the motion, then the motion will be that the notices get sent out, we do the site visit, and we will be prepared then to make a decision at the next planning committee meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call the question then. Those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have the councillor's update, which basically you've all read it, so I'm not going to... Kira's not here to speak to it, so I won't. So I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Just a moment. So a question that perhaps we can carry forward to the next meeting is, because this is agricultural land again, similar to the cricket, if we're talking also about parking here, if there's any parking changes, parking on the field or anything, that would need to also go to the ALC, right?
No, it's just when you're making impervious, so you're making an impervious surface. That's the reason why the cricket fish has to come forward to the ALC and have approval as non-farm use.
Okay,
So
so
if you're just strictly parking on the field, you're not putting any pavement, concrete, or creating an impervious area, you wouldn't have to refer to the ALC.
so a change in use doesn't require. Okay.
So, motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor McKinnon, second by Councillor Rupp. Discussion. Those in favour? Opposed?